Yeah, so and I've written a bit about having strategies in board games, and we talked about strategy and tactics last time, and of course you can build a strategy, long-term strategy and short-term tactics. Not sure how tactics and strategy correlate and what defines them, but in my world, strategy is a long-term and series of tactical movement, where tactical is more based, well, based on what's happening right now, or split decisions, split-second decisions, and all that. Oh yeah, and of course, seeing how a person plays one game doesn't necessarily mean that they plays another game the same way, but similar games will have similar patterns. And I wonder if not, I mean, I wonder if a builder player in an RTS, real-time strategy, or board games that have the, let's say, builder or warrior type gameplay, where you either build things to last, or try to wipe out your opponent by crushing his defense. Like, for instance, well, not Small World, that's a bit warrior game, but Civilization, or you could say games like Puerto Rico, where you have more building and less warrior, but you can still interact by forcing your opponents to do silly decisions or stopping their progress more actively. And I wonder if well, yeah, for instance, if the same, if there are patterns that can be transferred between different types of games, where if you can see that, oh, that if I play, for instance, a first-person shooter and against someone, if I played against him in a builder type board game like Puerto Rico or Civilization, if I can see his patterns transferred into the first person shooter, how will he, I mean, what is a builder in a first person shooter? Is that the camper? Or is that the medic standing behind the lines trying to help the enhancer player that will try to help the other players instead of being the main yes?
I would say that the builder players may be, in some cases, the perfectionist. He wants to not lose any health, use as little ammunition as possible, sort of save the resources.
Yeah. That's probably interesting. I wonder if it has to do also with exploiting the system more to enhance the probability of success. Yes, of course, and we've skipped a bit about in group dynamics how the group keeps their eyes open for how the different player how they feel and how healthy they are at the moment. If they're stressed, if they're tired, if they feel fatigued, if they haven't eaten, that will of course. And I say of course, and maybe it's weird to bring it up, but of course that will affect their gaming, and that will, well, that can usually put a player's style in jeopardy if they have a tactic or a way that they play that, or maybe they will fall back stronger on their type of how they used to play things. But their experience tells them that, oh, I will do this or that, and their stress level will probably go up a bit, or their involvement will go down, depending on how tired they are, how sick they are, and that of course will affect the entire involvement issue. And sometimes, of course, games are a great way to make people involved, to make them forget about other things. One of the greatest examples, I think, yet again, was I saw something that Jane McGonigal put on somewhere. I think it was her TED Talk, where they now might have found truth about that there's a passage in history before the Romans somewhere, or I think it was the Etruscans or something, that a passage in their history where they said that they will play games to outlive, to make people forget to eat, so that they won't feel as fatigued and as hungry as they would otherwise. So they kept the people involved in playing games, so they only had to eat every other day, because there was a famine for 17 years in the country, or 20 years. And at the end of that, they played the final game, where it was said that people who lose, they have to leave the country. There's not enough food. Drinking. And possibly the people who left might be part of the culture that ended up being the Roman culture. I'm not exactly sure of that, but this is an interesting thesis. And what the scientists have found out is that they traced the genealogy and DNA from bone fragments found in that area where this should have happened in history, with Italian and Roman people, and they have several genes that are correlating, so they might be the same people, and that could explain. And there was a big exodus from that area during that time, and there was a great famine for 20 years in that area. So it might have happened, it might not have happened, but it's a good story. It's a funny story. Keep them involved so they don't have to eat. Yeah, so that's that. And the last passage would be here that we're talking about becoming better and evolving your gameplay and such last time, and a bit. And still I have the last sentence. Is it possible to become better at other things through playing games? And not just playing, but actually playing games. And I don't mean things like I will become better at English by playing English games in English, but can you build games that actually use a game mechanic that will correlate an experience and make better things in real life? A lot of things found now, again, with computers, that's a bit easier to point at, where you have more eye-hand coordination, and since computers, the entire computer generation has put some stress into the simulations that they use for pilots, for instance. The entire piloting simulation program, who would become a great fighter pilot, I hear, was scrapped because the test that you were put through could be broken by 10-year-olds who had played games, because it was using a game mechanic that was so regular in games that it was silly. But the thing that they wanted, the aspect that they needed, had to be remodeled, because it still had to. There are still only some people who actually fit the right profile. So they had to remake the model for finding those aspects of a person. So that's fine. Usually we call those types of games simulations. Generally, simulations where you do something and get better. But still, the question is if you can find games that aren't simulations, that actually simulate skills in some way. We usually find them all over the place. It's just hard to find. All right. Let's go break. So the last entry here. Meta aspects and general rules for gaming. I don't have that big idea what I was thinking, but there are two parts here. One part would be lifting games to a meta level, like we've done here today, and what we're doing right now is reflecting. That's just lifting up, becoming better, finding the meta aspects, looking through the game and making it more transparent, looking at game mechanics, having the opportunity to an experience to explore how games are similar, and thereby be able to go up to a table, look at a game, and say, that's this kind of game, that's that kind of game. This game will make me feel like this. This will put me in that style. Different aspects of gaming through a metagame aspect, and also looking at why, what's a game and not what's the theme of the game. Yeah, that's about that. Of course, the metagame aspect. Yeah, how will this affect me? How will I feel? And then we go down to. Will I have to use real skills instead of fake skills? Well, some skills are more. I mean, there are some games that for instance, what is it? Kingdoms. Great game for multiplication as a multiplication exercise. Is it a real skill? Mathematics. Well, you could say that mathematics is fairly great skill, and you have great use. Same thing that most of the games use. I mean, mathematics is a prime example of a skill that you use and that you train through playing games. Other skills. You played Das Bauernspiel here was played. Also a game, real life skill, hand-eye coordination, dexterity-based game. You have to, well, find. You have to be really careful putting things in the different small holes. And I mean, where would you find those skills otherwise? Would you use them someplace else? Would that game be of interest for a surgeon? Possibly not. But there are aspects to be explored. Do we have other games that we use silly things? There should be more. There are
Rabbits and carrots.
Rabbits and carrots, mathematical game, and eye-hand coordination. I was thinking reaction. I was thinking about a game. Well, it's the game is called Clayrama. First of all, you have to build your own monster. It's like a figure game almost, but you build your clay monsters, and they get stats, and then you play with them, and the purpose is to smite your opponents. It's a war game. So first you build your monster, and you can be really creative, and you can be really artistic, and it will probably be encouraged, and it will probably make your monster. Yeah, beauty will kill the beast. So having a pretty monster will make it a feisty target for all the other people because they will be envious. Again, metagame aspect, social interactions. But you get to build your monster. You get to be creative. You get to be artistic. Then you have hand-eye coordination, because some of the things is that you get to throw things at a distance. You get to use strength. You get to smash your opponent. So you get to slap your opponent's monster, not your opponent, but your opponent's monster. Slap your opponent. Aha! I will slap you. Social interaction. But that's a great game for showing that there are games where you create things in the game, not just as with figures, small models where you build them and you paint them, but in the game itself you have